Let me ask you something. Have you ever woken up feeling drained, unmotivated, stuck in the same cycle day after day? You know you want more. You know you're capable of more, but something keeps pulling you down. That little voice in your head says, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe when the timing is right. But the truth is, if you don't take control of your mind right now, you'll keep repeating the same patterns. Success, happiness, fulfillment. It's all about momentum. And momentum is built by what you do daily. Every single day you are conditioning yourself. You are either strengthening the habits that empower you, or you're reinforcing the ones that hold you back. And here's what you need to understand. Motivation is not something you wait for, it's something you create. You have the power to train your mind, to program your focus, and to fuel your energy in a way that makes you So today we're going to break the chains. Today we're going to rewire your mind and body for success, because when you learn how to master daily motivation, everything in your life will change. Your energy will shift, your actions will follow, your results will transform, and it all starts with one simple truth. Motivation is fuel, not a luxury. Most people treat motivation like it's some rare, fleeting moment of inspiration that happens by accident. They think it's a feeling that just appears when the time is right, when circumstances align, when everything is perfect. But that's the biggest lie you can believe. Motivation isn't a luxury that you get to experience when life is easy. It's the fuel that drives you forward, especially when things are hard. Think about your car. Would you ever drive it without fuel? Of course not. You know that without fuel, you're not going anywhere. It doesn't matter if the car is brand new, the tires are perfect, or the engine is powerful. Without fuel, it's just a hunk of metal sitting there, useless. Your mind, your ambition, and your dreams work the same way. You could have all the potential in the world, but if you're running on empty, you're going nowhere. The most successful people in the world understand this. They don't rely on motivation to show up when they need it. They create systems and habits that keep them driven every single day. They train their minds to find motivation even when they're tired, even when they're discouraged, even when everything is telling them to stop. They know that motivation isn't something you find, it's something you build. That's why the idea that motivation is a luxury is so dangerous. Because when you see it as something that only comes when conditions are perfect, you give yourself permission to stay stuck. You tell yourself that it's okay to wait, that it's okay to stay where you are, that it's okay to do nothing. And every day that you wait for motivation to magically appear is another day wasted. You need to stop thinking of motivation as a nice to have and start treating it like a necessity, like oxygen, like food, like water. You don't wait until you're dehydrated to drink water, do you? You don't wait until you're starving to eat. You don't wait until you can't breathe to take a breath. You do these things automatically because you know they're essential to your survival. Well, motivation is essential to your success. If you don't have it, you won't move forward. And if you don't move forward, you'll never reach the life you want. So stop making excuses. Stop saying you're waiting for the right moment, the right feeling, the right circumstances. Motivation is not a luxury, it's a choice. You decide every day whether you're going to fuel yourself or not. You decide whether you're going to let life control you or whether you're going to take control and make things happen. Because at the end of the day, motivation is not something you have, it's something you do. You must create motivation daily. If you think motivation is something that just happens once and lasts forever, you're setting yourself up for failure. Motivation is not permanent, doesn't stick around unless you feed it. It's like taking a shower. You don't do it once and expect to stay clean forever. You do it every day because life keeps throwing dirt at you. Motivation works the same way. Every single day, negativity, doubt, stress, and distractions are trying to pull you down. If you're not actively creating motivation, you're allowing those forces to drain you. Some days, you're going to wake up feeling unstoppable. Other days, you're going to wake up feeling exhausted, unmotivated, and full of doubt. That's life. That's human nature. But what separates successful people from everyone else is that they don't rely on feelings. They don't wait for motivation to come knocking. They create it every single day, no matter what. How do you do that? By building habits that fuel your mind, body, and spirit. The first step is feeding your mind with the right thoughts. What you consume determines how you think, and how you think determines how you act. If you wake up and immediately fill your mind with negativity, checking the news, scrolling through social media, complaining about your problems, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're allowing outside influences to dictate your mood, your focus, and ultimately your actions. Instead, start your day with something that fuels you. Read something inspiring. Listen to something powerful. Surround yourself with words, ideas, and people that lift you up instead of pulling you down. You need to be intentional about what you feed your mind because your thoughts shape your reality. If you fill your mind with power, you'll take powerful actions. If you fill your mind with excuses, you'll stay stuck exactly where you are. Next, move your body. Physical movement creates energy, and energy creates motivation. Have you ever noticed how different you feel after a workout? Before you start, you might be tired, sluggish, or unmotivated, but once you push yourself through it, your entire state changes. You feel stronger, more alive, more ready to take on the day. That's because movement isn't just about physical health, it's about mental and emotional momentum. When you move, you activate your body's ability to generate energy, and that energy fuels your motivation. Then control your focus. What you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, you'll see more problems. If you focus on opportunities, you'll create solutions. Every day you have a choice. You can focus on what's wrong, or you can focus on what's possible. You can focus on why you can't, or you can focus on how you will. Your brain is like a GPS. It will take you wherever you direct it. If you program it with negative thoughts, it will lead you to negative outcomes. If you program it with empowering beliefs, it will lead you to success. Most people wake up and let the day control them. They react instead of acting. They let their emotions, their environment, and other people dictate how they feel and what they do. But if you want to create motivation daily, you need to take control from the moment you wake up. You need to set the tone, decide your focus, and intentionally create the energy that will drive you forward. That's why motivation is a daily practice. It's not something you do once in a while. It's not something you rely on when you're in the mood. You must create motivation daily because without it, you will stop. And when you stop, you lose momentum. And when you lose momentum, you lose progress. Motivation isn't about waiting. It's about doing. It's about showing up, putting in the work, and refusing to let excuses win. It's about making the decision every single day to be the person who takes action, who moves forward, who creates their own future instead of waiting for it to happen. Because the truth is, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is going to hand you the motivation you need. You must create it every single day, no matter what. Control your mind, or the world will control it for you. Every single day, there are forces fighting for control over your mind. The news, social media, advertising, other people's opinions, everything around you is designed to influence the way you think, feel, and act. And if you don't take control of your own mind, these external forces will do it for you. They will decide your mood, your focus, your beliefs, and ultimately, your future. That's why so many people feel stuck. They are letting the world dictate their reality instead of taking charge of their own mindset. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. It can be your greatest weapon, or it can be your biggest weakness. It all depends on who's in control. If you allow negativity, fear, and doubt to dominate your thoughts, your actions will reflect that. If you constantly consume bad news, toxic conversations, and self-limiting beliefs, your mind will become a breeding ground for failure. But if you take control, if you consciously decide what enters your mind, what thoughts you nurture, and what beliefs you adopt, you become unstoppable. It starts with awareness. Most people go through life on autopilot, never questioning the thoughts that run through their minds. They accept fear as truth. They accept limitations as reality. But where did those beliefs come from? Who put them there? More often than not, they were planted by someone else. Society, parents, teachers, the media. And if you never stop to question them, you will live your entire life inside a mental prison built by others. The first step to taking control of your mind is deciding what you allow in. You must become the gatekeeper of your thoughts. That means filtering out negativity before it takes root. If you constantly listen to people who tell you that you can't, you won't. If you allow yourself to dwell on your problems instead of searching for solutions, you will stay stuck. You need to be ruthless about what you consume. Read books that expand your mindset. Listen to podcasts that challenge your thinking. Surround yourself with people who push you to grow. Once you control what goes into your mind, the next step is controlling what stays there. Thoughts are like seeds. If you plant negativity, fear, and self-doubt, they will grow into massive barriers that hold you back. But if you plant confidence, resilience, and belief, they will grow into a mindset that propels you forward. Every thought you entertain is either strengthening or weakening you, and the most dangerous ones are the ones you don't even notice. The quiet doubts, the subtle fears, the small excuses that seem harmless but slowly eat away at your potential. You must actively rewire your mind to focus on power instead of weakness. That means catching negative thoughts the moment they appear and replacing them with something stronger. If your mind tells you, "I can't do this," you immediately counter it with, "I will find a way." If your mind says, "I'm not good enough," you replace it with, "I am capable and I am growing every day." This isn't just positive thinking. It's mental conditioning. It's training your brain to work for you instead of against you. Your thoughts create your reality. What you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, you'll see more problems. If you focus on opportunities, you'll find solutions. The world is constantly trying to pull your attention in a million directions, but you must be disciplined about where you direct your focus. Because the truth is, if you don't take control of your own mind, someone else will. And they won't have your best interests at heart. Feed your mind with empowering content. What you put into your mind determines what comes out in your life. If you are constantly feeding your brain with negativity, distractions, and meaningless entertainment, don't be surprised when you feel stuck, unmotivated, and overwhelmed. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant will grow. If you plant weeds, you get weeds. If you plant strong, powerful ideas, you get a life that reflects that strength. Every day you have a choice about what you consume. And in today's world, most people are consuming garbage, mindless social media, negative news, toxic conversations, and opinions that add no value to their lives. Then they wonder why they feel drained, anxious, and uninspired. Your brain is processing everything you take in, and whether you realize it or not, it is shaping your beliefs, your energy, and your drive. If you want to create a life of success, you need to be intentional about what you feed your mind. That means cutting out the junk. If something doesn't add value, if it doesn't inspire, educate, or push you forward, it doesn't belong in your mental diet. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about choosing what you focus on. Because what you focus on, you feel. And what you feel drives your actions. Start by feeding your mind powerful content every single day. Read books that challenge you, that stretch your thinking, that introduce you to new possibilities. Books are the greatest shortcut to success because they allow you to learn in hours what took someone else years to figure out. If you're not reading, you're falling behind. Listen to content that fuels you. Every moment of your day is an opportunity to feed your mind. Instead of listening to negative people, put on a podcast that inspires you. Instead of filling your commute with pointless noise, listen to an audiobook that sharpens your mindset. Instead of scrolling through social media, watch videos that teach you something valuable. The people you surround yourself with also feed your mind. If you're constantly around people who complain, doubt, and settle for less, their mindset will infect you. Energy is contagious. If you spend time with winners, you will start to think like a winner. If you surround yourself with people who push limits, break barriers, and refuse to accept mediocrity, that energy will become your standard. You also need to protect your mental space from distractions. In today's world, attention is the most valuable currency. Companies, advertisers, and media outlets are fighting for your focus every second of the day, and if you don't take control, they will hijack your mind. That's why most people feel exhausted even though they haven't done anything meaningful. They've spent their entire day reacting to notifications, scrolling through other people's lives, and consuming content that drains them instead of fuels them. Take back control by being intentional about what you allow into your mind. Start your day with something powerful. The first thing you consume in the morning sets the tone for the rest of the day. If you begin with negativity, stress, and distractions, you are programming your brain for chaos. But if you start with inspiration, education, and clarity, you set yourself up for success. Your brain is always listening, always absorbing. The words you hear, the ideas you consume, the people you interact with, all of it shapes who you become. If you want to build a powerful mindset, you need to feed it powerful fuel. Because if you don't, the world will feed it for you. And the world is not designed to make you successful. It is designed to keep you distracted. Take control, be intentional, protect your mental space, because what you feed your mind today will determine where you are tomorrow. Move your body. Your body and mind are directly connected, and the way you move your body influences the way you think, feel, and act. If you're constantly sluggish, sitting in the same position for hours, barely engaging your muscles, your brain will mirror that energy. You will feel tired, uninspired, and stuck. But when you move, when you engage your body, everything changes. You create energy. You shift your state. You break out of the mental fog and ignite something inside you that pushes you forward. The truth is, energy is not something you either have or don't have. It's something you generate. Most people assume that they need energy before they can move, but it's actually the other way around. You move first and then energy follows. That's why the most successful people in the world prioritize movement. They know that their ability to perform at a high level, to think clearly, and to take massive action is directly tied to their physical state. If you wake up feeling tired, one of the worst things you can do is stay still. Lying in bed, dragging yourself through the morning and moving sluggishly will only reinforce that tiredness. But if you force yourself to move, if you stretch, if you jump, if you go for a walk, if you hit the gym, you shift your entire physiology. You send signals to your brain that it's time to wake up, time to be alert, time to be powerful. Movement creates emotion. Have you ever noticed how different you feel after a workout? Maybe you didn't feel like doing it at first, maybe you had to push yourself, but once you finished, everything changed. Your energy was higher, your mind was clearer, and your confidence was stronger. That's because movement is not just about physical health, it's about activating the part of you that is alive, that is driven, that is unstoppable. Your posture, your breathing, the way you carry yourself, all of it affects your state of mind. If you slouch, if you breathe shallowly, if you drag your feet, your brain interprets that as low energy. But if you stand tall, if you breathe deeply, if you move with purpose, you instantly feel more powerful. This is not just theory, it's biology. Your body sends messages to your brain and your brain responds accordingly. This is why elite performers, athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders make movement a non-negotiable part of their day. They don't wait until they feel like exercising. They don't wait until they have free time. They schedule it, they commit to it, and they understand that their energy, their focus, and their drive depend on it. They know that their ability to push through challenges, to stay motivated, and to perform at their best is directly tied to how they move their bodies. If you want to change your mindset, start by changing your movements. If you want to shift from doubt to confidence, from fatigue to energy, from hesitation to action, move your body. Do something that gets your blood flowing, something that forces you out of your comfort zone, something that reminds you that you are in control. Because when you move with power, you think with power, and when you think with power, you take action like never before. Where focus goes, energy flows. Whatever you focus on, you will experience. If you focus on problems, you will see more problems. If you focus on possibilities, you will find solutions. Your mind is like a magnifying glass. Whatever you aim it at becomes bigger, more intense, more dominant in your life. That's why two people can go through the exact same situation and have completely different experiences. One person sees an obstacle and stops, while the other sees an opportunity and takes action. The difference isn't in the situation, it's in their focus. Most people go through life letting their focus be dictated by circumstances, by other people, by distractions. They focus on what's wrong instead of what's possible. They focus on fears instead of opportunities. They focus on the past instead of the future, and as a result, they feel stuck, overwhelmed, and drained. But the truth is, you are in control of your focus. You decide what you give your attention to, and what you give your attention to will determine the direction of your life. If you constantly focus on why things won't work, your brain will find reasons to confirm that belief. It will seek out evidence that supports your doubts. It will amplify your fears and make every obstacle seem bigger than it really is. But if you shift your focus to solutions, your brain will start searching for answers. It will find ways to move forward. It will turn obstacles into challenges and challenges into opportunities. The key is to become intentional about where you direct your focus. Most people let their focus be hijacked by external forces, news headlines, social media, other people's negativity. They spend their days reacting instead of directing. But if you want to take control of your life, you need to take control of your focus. That means starting your day with intention. It means deciding in advance what you will pay attention to and what you will ignore. It means training your mind to look for the good, to find the lesson in every challenge, to see opportunity where others see failure. One of the most powerful ways to control your focus is through questions. Your brain is always looking for answers, and the questions you ask determine what it searches for. If you ask, why does this always happen to me? Your brain will find reasons to justify that belief. But if you ask, how can I turn this into an advantage? Your brain will start searching for solutions. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of your questions. Another way to shift your focus is by controlling your environment. If you surround yourself with negativity, it will consume your focus. If you constantly expose yourself to distractions, your energy will be scattered. But if you create an environment that supports your goals, if you surround yourself with positive influences, if you eliminate distractions, if you immerse yourself in empowering content, your focus will naturally align with success. Training your focus is like training a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets. If you constantly redirect your thoughts from problems to solutions, from doubts to possibilities, from fear to action, it will become automatic. You will develop the habit of focusing on what moves you forward instead of what holds you back. And when that happens, nothing will be able to stop you.